When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's coverage of the YesterYear Racing League. This evening we're excited to bring you all the action and all the coverage from iRacing's virtual Martinsville Speedway in Ridgeway, Virginia, for tonight's edition of the Southern 200. Maconi Entertainment is here to bring you action from all types of racing, including the weekly Fast Friday series. No matter what you're racing, we can bring the action to life. My name's Justin Prince, alongside the booth for tonight, Brandon Laster. Christian Hill is working the controls as our producer. Now, for those who don't know, YesterYear Racing League is a unique one to the iRacing platform. It seeks to emulate historical races from 1990s Whelen Modified and 1990s S.M.A.R.T tours. These races are identical to the real-world races that occurred, and we'll be bringing you that coverage once again with the history throughout tonight's season finale. Tonight, we're emulating the 1990 Winston Classic. Braden, the championship comes down to tonight. It's been a busy year and a busy season for YesterYear. And tonight, it's the final one.
Yeah, 15 races down, and this is technically the 15th. I mean, we've gone to tracks of all shapes and sizes. We've been to Pocono, we've gone to New Hampshire, Hickory, Richmond, Martinsville. Those are our third visit here. One of our more visited tracks. Previous winners here include Thomas Ogle. He won the very first race of the season, and Ryan Pittman. Both those drivers not in contention for a championship tonight, but the two that are being put on a show for all 200 laps.
Should be a dazzling of a show, especially knowing the championship comes down essentially to 2 drivers here tonight based on attendance. Thomas Ogle, while he is here, there's not enough drivers in that regard for him to stay championship eligible for the points. Brian Bianchi and Lloyd Moore are your championship drivers to watch, Braden.
Yeah, a bit of an interesting but simple concept for Bianchi. All he has to do is go out here and finish 6th or better, no matter what Lloyd Moore does. Lloyd Moore can lead all 200 laps, have the race of his life, and he'll come up a couple points shy. A couple bonus points for leading a lap, and then some bonus points for leading the most laps. So if Bianchi's able to go out there and lead a single lap, they'll kind of move that buffer back to about 7th or so. But it's going to be a pretty big, I don't want to say an underdog story, but Lloyd Moore's chances aren't looking pretty.
It's going to require some luck, to say the very least, especially with Bianchi, a 3-win season, tied for the second most amount of wins on the campaign so far, entering this finale. Now, where are we once again? We're at the Paperclip, Martinsville Speedway. At this track, it's our 3rd trip here, in fact, Brayton, but it's the longest trip.
Yeah, 200 miles, actually, the first race of the season was a 200-lapper. The YesterYear Classic, so it's kind of funny. We're starting off, or we're ending the same way we started the season off, and that's going to be with a bang here at Martinsville. It's going to be a fun 1.5 mile in thing here in Ridgeway, Virginia. 12 degrees of banking, which isn't much at all, and a pretty flat straightaway, so these drivers will navigate around. I don't want to say single file groove around the bottom. We saw the middle top groove work a little bit last time while you're here, but you have to really set it up. You can't stay out there for too long.
Indeed, let's take the chance now to talk about Hubble, the AI program and its predictions. And for the first time this season, actually, is projecting Bianchi as the potential winner here. Thomas Ogle, Lloyd Moore, the top 3 projected entering today. Ryan Pittman, who showed great speed all season. But Jerry Isaacs, who's been in contention for some wins, I'm unsure projected top 5 tonight. So that's again a look at Hubble AI in the top 10 predictions as we get set to race for the Old Red Boot here at Martinsville. Qualifying's come to a close, and the battle is on to see who picks up the championship trophy. Combination of OBRL RL, and Bootleg Racing League's names a part of this season's trophy. We'll take a look at that once we get the chance. Thomas Ogle, take a look at him on the pole. Ryan Pittman, Brian Bianchi, and Donnie Moore in the top 4. Lloyd Moore starts at 5th. Then it's Jeff Lemire in 6th position. Next page, Kenneth Allen, Brian Neff, Jerry Isaacs, and Jeffrey Leiden all are amongst your top 10 this evening.
There's going to be a very stacked list here outside the top 10. Bruce Pearson there in 11th. Brian Johnson in 12th. Alan Wanamaker, the man, the myth, the legend behind this league and all of its good doings there in 13th. Dustin Martin is outside of 14th. Thomas Hilbert in 15th. Lil Jewell in 16th. Torrance Childs there 17th. And the one driver did not take a time here tonight with John Hastings drawn off 18th. Entire field within just a half second.
Let's talk about the running order. As mentioned, championship trophy debuted and unveiled within the past few days. In fact, drivers will be racing for essentially an old red boot, which we mentioned combines the different league names that take part in this series. Bianchi and Moore both have that up for grabs, this boot, to be able to come away with this trophy.
Definitely a pretty cool trophy, pretty neat honor as long as I win a championship, get some bragging rights, but that thing definitely gonna look sitting pretty on a shelf. It's gonna come down to 2 drivers though. Brian Bianchi and Lloyd Moore both are on offense out of top 5.
They're gonna need to have great races. We are just about set though for a 200 lapper. Here's Maconi Setup Shop race analysis for tonight. Remember, 0 fast repairs, 0 GWCs, fixed setups as part of this series. Happy with us here from Martinsville, here at Maconi Entertainment. Thomas Ogle in control, green flag is out. We're underway from the paperclip. Oh, in trouble! Coming out of turn 2. The caution flag is out. Jeff Lemire and Moore. One driver up and along the wall as part of the chaos. Absolute chaos.
We have just gone from an 18-car field to about an 8-car field here real quick in the first quarter mile. We're going to start just inside the top 10. I saw a couple drivers start to fall back there, and first one to watch will be number 15, Jeff Lemire.
Yeah, a lot of trouble already, and that's already cost the races of Wanamaker, Childs, Pearson, and Isaacs, who all have mandatory repairs and didn't even make the first lap, essentially. And you don't want attrition to build up. It's very easy for that to happen, though, in the circumstance I think that happened, that you mentioned with the 15. Here's a look.
They're going to be going to the green flag here, looking at white 15, third row on the outside. They're going to go down into turn 1, and the 60 of Brian Neff is going to drive through the 15 up through the field. So right there, there's the contact that's for 6, and at that point, Neff turns 15 around. There's just nowhere to go. The 51 of Jerry Isaacs gets into the inside wall, bounces up. He collects Bruce Pearson, and at that point, it has become a parking lot here at Martinsville. Jerry Isaacs, you mentioned the damage for him. Night is over. He has taken it to the garage. He's going to go get a hot dog.
Let's take some more on boards here. This is from Jeffrey Leiden, who took a bit of a ride, part of this incident, but is amongst those not with mandatory repairs.
Yeah, I don't know how he was able to get away with repairs. He's going to end up on the outside wall here. Actually drove up it. I think driving over the wall is not saving him, because he had cars that are hitting the wall underneath of him instead of hitting his car. Looking at his car now, it doesn't actually look too torn up. So Leiden getting a lucky break there. Speaking of lucky break, I'll tell you who this helps. This helps Brian Bianchi more than anything, because if Bianchi were to fall out of the race early on, now the worst he's going to finish is about 14th or 15th, depending who can get back out on track. So that will be less cars to pass him if Bianchi has an early DNF here tonight. Lloyd Moore, by the way, in line right behind him in 4th, so they will be restarting on the same row together.
So currently just getting paced around and ready to group together. Ogle, Pittman, Bianchi, Lloyd Moore amongst your top 4 now. Donnie Moore in 5th, Kenneth Allen in 6th. Then you have the drivers involved in the incident. Leiden still maintains 7th spot from the wall ride situation. So at this time, the pace lights are out. We do have some wave around cars possibly. No, Thomas Hilbert's up there, John Hastings as well. Jeff Lemire's been waved to the back, and now they're waving the lap cars to the back instead of giving them the chance to pass the pace car here with the rule set.
A very interesting call there. We got to lap back. Got to get lap back to the hard fast way. And Thomas Dogo is going to take the green here on the first restart of the night, the old fashioned way as well.
So no wave arounds here. All set to go for the green flag. Back underway. The field goes back to rumbling. This time single file.
Hopefully it makes it a little bit cleaner through the first corner so far. Top 5, top 6, top 10, all through 1 and 2A. Okay, the field make it through and down the back straightaway through 3 and 4 now.
So top 3 all lockstep. Trying to pull away in the 19-second bracket and qualify. They were running 18 2s to 4s. Same consistency when it comes to their practice pace. So expect them to be rapid pace. It's mid-afternoon session. As well, keep in mind, World Race historically, it's won by Tony Hirschman, who's the father of Matt Hirschman, Big Money Hirschman. As we have one driver, John Hastings, who's pulled it on in along with Thomas Hilbert.
We have 3 drivers getting a penalty here. I'm not really sure what the penalty was. I believe there was a stack up, or they were trying to go to the tail end there.
I think so too. I think it's involving the fact that not everyone passed by with the late command for them to go to the tail.
Yeah, so that's going to trap Wanamaker, who's already a lap down, or 2 laps down. It's going to trap Lem, Torrance, Childs, Thomas Hilbert, Hastings, Lemire, and Pearson. So much that damage. When someone got that penalty, they're going to go 3 laps down here, some of them. Thomas Hilbert has just parked it for the night, not happy with the penalty, not really sure if it was I don't want to say a deserved penalty, just an unfortunate set of circumstances there. He's gone ahead and then parked it for the night, allowing Brian Bianchi a little bit more of a cushion if he does get a DNF.
I was about to say this event, so you see the little Jewel try and battle things out a little bit actually with Dustin Martinson for the 10th spot. A bit of an interesting one in real life. In real life, this was a triple header weekend back in 1990. But they had a late model event to start things off, then the modifieds, then a 200-lap Busch Grand National race that was won by Steve Grissom at the time. A part of that weekend, Tony Hirschman, who was the winner in his last modified race, ended up joining that respective series and joined the Grand National Tour in 1991.
Unique storylines, and you sit there, we've touched up all season long on certain drivers. Mike Stefanik, I know he was a driver we talked about a lot. We're talking about previous races. Reggie Ruggiero was another one. Hirschman, we didn't talk about him a whole lot, but it's pretty neat seeing all these names that we see in nowadays racing. Gio Ruggiero, Reggie's son, he's racing in the ARCA series part-time. So I'm actually able to I've raced against him and then the ARCA platform before. So kind of cool to go and see these names, see these history, these quick facts, from 35 years ago almost.
Caution, we have an air stack up. It's turn 2. Involved in this one, Leiden spun around the wrong way. And we're under yellow, also involved Brian Johnson, Brian Neff, and more.
I was going to start with a self-spin from Jeffrey Leiden, that Peggy Wigner machine. Well, that little Peggy went around, I'll tell you that.
This race had 7 cautions in real life. We're running at 2. At lap 17, this race in real life estimated to take an hour and a half. We're already looking like we're going to approach that clip, if not longer, if we keep the cautions together here.
Looking back at race number 1, another 200 lapper here at Martinsville, the YesterYear Classic 200. 8 cautions for 40 laps, about an hour and 25 minutes. See the replay here. Look at the 39 there, Jeffrey Leiden right in front of the 27 here, Brian Johnson. Leiden gets out of the groove and loses it. Johnson goes to check up. Brian F doesn't quite get the memo. They start checking up. Little Jewel there. See Martinson go a little bit high and stop up by the wall. All the drivers did a great job at getting back going to not lose a lap and have fairly minimal damage as well.
That caution also reduced the amount of lead lappers to 11 in this race. Torrance Childs, first 2 laps down in the race. How things have fared out so far. But passing looking like it's going to be very difficult tonight, Braden, once again. Many drivers not able to get alongside unless there's a mistake in front like we've seen with the 2 making a move on Martinsville before.
Yeah, definitely. We've talked about it. You can run the middle groove. You gotta be able to set the corner up, set the pass up. These drivers do have 2 sets of tires in the pit. If we wanna, pass through a pit strategy, maybe come down, take some fresher rubber, and see if that works. Although we've seen with this modified tire model, it's not really a fan of old rubber or new rubber. Just getting your tires cooled down, they're able to go out there and perform just as good as newer rubber would. So we've seen some drivers come down, top up on fuel, and be good and not really worry about tires that much. We've seen a lot of races won by staying out late in the race. And, that might be how the championship is decided here, as Bianchi and Lloyd Moore are still side by side, 3rd and 4th. But so far, it's been all Thomas Ogle out front. Remember, Ogle did win this race. The previous 200 lapper at Martinsville here, set on the pole and everything. So trying to win back-to-back 200 lap races at Martinsville. Led 161 laps that day.
It's a lot of laps to say the very least over the course of 200. And right now, we're coming up to 20 laps complete in our race as well. Alan Wanamaker, by the way, is passed by Childs as a result of the pit stop sequence. Expecting a lot of potential for at least a fuel stop or 2 as the lights are out. 1 to go signal. Top 3 broke away last time. Ogle, Pittman, Bianchi. We'll see if they pull away again here.
Ogle, I think, is the man with a plan. Can't win a championship, but he might as well win the race. So far, he's looking pretty comfortable. Came in 2nd, favored most driver by the Hubble AI. He was able to get it done in 180 laps time.
All set to go for the restart box. Green flag is out. Back underway. Ogle this time got a decent jump. A bit of sparring with Donnie Moore. Lloyd Moore couldn't get, or rather Donnie Moore couldn't get alongside Lloyd Moore. Others like Neff pushing hard off the corner back there.
Definitely getting more and more aggressive as this race is going on. Seems trying to get single file for the most part. Bruce Pearson and Louis Jewell side by side for a quick second off of turn 4 there. They quickly sort out the field, rolling now down the back straightaway.
All staying in a rhythm to start off this run once again. It's an art form to be able to get the rhythm just right when it comes to the modifieds here. A lot of momentum, a lot of speed you have to carry. It's a lot more different than, say, a normal stock car. You can argue on how you would drive this track.
Now, a lot wider tires, and they're open fender cars. So they have the Nerf bars there on the side, but they don't really have the body to absorb the impact. So you're able to get a little bit closer there to the wall per se than it would be a normal stock car, about 600 plus horsepower, and a lot wider tire too. A little bit lighter as well than most of your NASCAR cars. A little bit easier to get around this tight bull ring.
Absolutely right now, as you keep an eye on some of the groupings at the moment. Lloyd Moore trying a different line here, trying that diamond line off turn 2 a little bit, it seems. Doesn't seem to be working quite yet to close into the 41.
I see definitely a couple different lines, a couple different strategies maybe as far as corner entry goes. See Lloyd Moore trying to run a bit of a diamond line, build some momentum to go and catch Brian Bianchi if he can. You can take a different approach to the corner, but if you slip up a little bit, then the guys behind you would definitely take the opportunity and try and stick his nose inside you, which can definitely make your night go from good to terrible.
Can cause a big swing, absolutely. And right now, the Moores getting a little bit close for comfort, near contact with the Nerf bar from Donnie Moore. But still, Donnie Moore just trying to provide that extra pressure to Lloyd Moore, try and push him forward, it seems, right now. The top 2 are broken away, by the way, by almost a second.
The Thomas Ogle Pittman there, they're the closest battle on track, or one of them, about 2/10 separate those two. And they have a pretty big breathing gap behind them. Bianchi about a second behind Pittman there. So pretty big gap from second to third, but Pittman trying to force Ogle into a mistake, and Ogle is not one to make a mistake.
Yeah, we have rarely seen him make a mistake, especially for the race lead this season. One of the fastest drivers this season with 5 victories, leading the way in the series. Now he's been able to compete, but Ryan Pittman, is able to keep up with him. Well, we've seen it multiple tracks. You almost can tell Ogle setting it to the point where he's drifting the rear tires.
Yeah, Ogle has led the most laps by more than twice as many than anyone this season. 735 laps led for Thomas Ogle. Next driver is going to be Ryan Pittman there at 300. It's going to be a bit of a crazy stat, but Rex Hoyle, not in attendance tonight, is the 3rd driver as far as laps led at 260. Driver we don't talk about too much. 0 poles and only 1 win, but over 250 laps led. For reference, Brian Bianchi, your championship leader coming tonight, only 136 laps led.
Very interesting when it comes to laps led. But right now, still lots of time for some of these drivers to sort things out. Kenneth Allen, he's sorting things out to close up to the Moors, it seems. Staying within a few tenths now with this battle. If anything, Donnie might be a touch bit quicker than Lloyd, just no place to take it.
No room at all to make the run. I mean, he can look on the outside if he wants, but if he runs a couple tenths slower, it's going to allow Kenneth Allen to get inside him, stick his nose inside him, and you don't want to be side by side for too long here, because that would definitely wear your tires up more than you need them to. And you need to have a caution at that point to kind of cool them down, with a caution not really guaranteed at any point during this race. When these drivers getting spread out, I don't think we'll see one for a while.
Remember, drivers like Lloyd Moore, we've seen historically, per the AI trends, it's one of the cleaner drivers here when it comes to Martinsville. Low incident rates, seeing him 3rd best by a decent margin over Pittman in the organizational chart. He's been keeping it clean amongst the top 4 so far here tonight. So, 10 on the lead lap at the moment. Not expecting lap traffic to be a factor for the next little bit for the race leaders, but we have had a change. Thomas Ogle, remember, he's been getting slippy slidey. Pittman sent it up to turn 3 and was able to uproot the 13 off the bottom.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Slight mistake by Ogle allows Ryan Pittman to get on by. See the replay here, they're gonna go in turn 3. Pittman looks inside, pulls a bit of a fake out, and is able to hang on and commit. A little bit of contact. I think it's more of an air bubble of anything, since Ogle out of the racing groove and allows Pittman to drive away into the sunset. So lap 39, Ryan Pittman, new leader. Both these drivers are the previous 2 drivers that find victory lane here at Martinsville, and we have a clash of titans going on right now. And we mentioned lap traffic not coming up in the picture too soon, but it's only about a corner or so away. Brian Johnson will be the next car in line, already 17 laps down, so I expect them to let it go pretty easily. But when I start hitting those guys, 8th, 9th, 10th, that are still on the lead lap, I expect them to fight for it.
Going to take some time to get there, though. The difference on the racetrack for them from the front to the back in terms of average pace, 0.4 of a second. That's going to take a lot of time to close up at that current rate. Kenneth Allen still Munsell's trying the diamond line now, watching the Moors as they stay lockstep right now.
You see Lloyd Moore trying to do what he can to hang on. Right now, not in the championship winning position. A bad bump from Dynamore can definitely make it go wrong very quickly, but he needs Bianchi to start falling back if he wants to win the championship. So Bianchi's pulled away to a little bubble, about 2 seconds behind Thomas Ogle and a second in front of Lloyd Moore. So might have to see a wacky strategy or something, but Lloyd Moore is going to need a lot of help to win the championship at 150 laps.
Especially with Bianchi still riding 3rd, absolutely. Looking from Donnie still. And each time to these corner entries, Donnie just lunges pretty hard, but not enough to be able to make contact. Just keeps going really deep on these entries towards that Nerf bar.
Yeah, definitely. I think the patience is running thin here for Donnie Moore. If I'm Lloyd, I'd probably let him just go to avoid a bump and run gone wrong and keep my championship hopes alive, or at least my hopes of a good finish. And maybe Donnie Moore can go up there and run down Bianchi and kind of race Bianchi a little rough and, you know, send him to the tire barriers. That's what Lloyd Moore would need right now. Not hoping that happens, but that is what Lloyd Moore, I'm sure, wouldn't mind seeing, is Bianchi to happen to knock a tire off of it.
Still zipping around the racetrack for the time being. And still trying to zoom our way to a finish. So far, the leaders stay in lockstep now with Pittman up in front, maintaining the lead. In real life, 7 leaders, or rather 7 lead changes, 6 different drivers got the chance to lead. These two making it very difficult for anybody else to try and match that statistic.
You know, taking up all the glory, that is for sure, as these two have been all but picture perfect. Lap traffic finally about to start entering the picture, I'd say. Torrent Childs goes wide in the corner from them. They are right in line behind Childs now. Childs already 3 laps down. Expect him to go high next time by, if not right here. Then Brian Johnson there in the orange car in front of Childs, 17 laps down. Bit of a bobble there by Pittman.
Yeah. Oh, he missed the bottom actually, yeah. And now, does that set the send? No, but Childs did send it to the outside wall to let him go. That was a bit of a send, to say the very least, for the lap traffic. But Pittman is now missing the bottom here.
Now, Ogle definitely notices this, and he's turned the aggressiveness up to a notch. Hasn't made any contact yet, but we've seen him look low the past couple times. Get good off in the corner. You might have a run down the straightaway, be able to take it to the inside as we get more and more lap traffic over the next 15-20 laps. I think the opportunity will present itself to Thomas Ogle to get the lead back here.
You can tell Ogle wants that and wants it bad, still taking poke after poke. And they are about to reach a heavy strain of lap traffic.
Yeah, that lap traffic is going to be very crucial as far as navigating their way around it. Jeffrey Lyden up next on the top and blocking that Piggly Wiggly 39 machine. We've seen that 39 literally on the wall and in the catch fence, and he stayed on lead lap this entire race. No wave around, no lucky dog, just like it was back in 1990. So we're going to have to see how hard Jeffrey Lyden wants to stay on the lead lap here.
Yeah, that's going to be their prerogative if they want to fight and want to try and influence the race lead. That's within 3 car lengths for the time being. 4 different drivers in one straightaway for all this lap traffic buildup. Looking for the back end of Pittman as he still maintains the point. Still now reaches the traffic. Lyden chooses to go outside. No contest for the lap traffic. Ogle reaches the traffic at the bad spot.
Very bad spot. Has to cut off his corner exit a lot more tightly than he would have liked to allow Pittman to pull away a little bit. Pretty big gap now for Ryan Pittman, probably the biggest this run, coming in at just over 5/10 or half a second. Next up on the chop block, Brian Johnson still able to then pull out in front of these guys, turning actually much quicker lap times than their leaders. Not really sure if the damage to Johnson's car has given him a bit of an advantage, but he is flying.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Might have fresher tires at this point. That might be an influence from, you know, being 17 laps down. That could definitely play a bit of a factor in that regard, but it's still been a zippity-zoo-dah type of run for the most part for these two, no problem, as the leaders now get ready to reach a 3-car strain in the next 10 laps.
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day. Brian Johnson is trying to pull away, but he's caught up to Alan Wallmaker and Dustin Martinson. Alan Wallmaker 2 laps down already, but Martinson, that car now on the lead lap, has a bit of a bobble in front of the leaders, able to stay in front of this 3-car pack. But if they don't get separated, Pittman and Olga are going to have a field day working their way through that pack.
Absolutely at this point. Still zooming along with just the 2 cautions to start off the race. And now Johnson dealing with Wanamaker. Wanamaker riding the wall. Just about reaching a bad spot. Pittman able to still keep the time steady though.
And next up, Ryan Johnson continues to pull away a little bit. See what he's able to do with a clear track. Now Martinsville up there in the 19 as well. Real quickly, Lloyd Moore has been passed now by Donnie Moore and Kenneth D. Allen. And Donnie Moore has cut Brian Bianchi for 3rd. Battle back up front here.
Tides are changing in the mid-pack, yes. Keep an eye on that as that's now 6 seconds back your race leader for the time being. Remember we talked about Donnie looking very sporty here tonight. He is looking extremely sporty each corner entry still.
Lap traffic now in the same corner as your leaders. They're going to be side by side in front of Ryan Pittman. This is about to get too exciting for your leader on the 08.
So keep an eye on the battle for 3rd spot on screen, but it's going to be critical for everyone tonight, Braden, to just watch the P's and Q's, is the saying, right? Just try and keep yourself out of the equation of trouble when it comes to this traffic.
Yeah, and I think traffic is the key way of making a pass here tonight. We've had a very long, very substantial green flag run here. And see the battle for 3rd has definitely played its way out. As you got a 3-car breakaway there for 3rd Bianchi in the 41, Donnie Moore in the 4, and Timothy Allen there in that 81. I think Lloyd Moore, you really need Donnie Moore and Kenneth Allen to go and put the pressure on Bianchi and force him to make a critical mistake.
That's been a rarity this season, nearly to the bumper ogle. He's providing pressure and lots of it.
They still have Brian Johnson there pulling away a couple tenths faster last time by. Not sure what the tire situation is there in that 27. If it's not the right front end or it's got a little bit too much camber or what. But if I'm telling myself, gosh, man, I'd love to be that fast right about now.
And Pittman starting to struggle corner exit. He's here to play with the throttle a lot coming out of turn 2. How much he's sliding up in front of Ogle. Ogle, no place to take advantage yet.
Yeah, take advantage is the name of the game. You gotta force Pittman into a mistake or catch lap traffic at a great point. That's about the only way you can make a clean pass, or emphasis on the term clean.
Still getting close on these sends here. Still yet to find a way around Johnson. Pittman dragged the wall. Here comes Ogle. Ogle nearly swiped into him. He pushed so tight.
Trying to get the most out of that car. They're trying to close up the gap as much as he can. About forces Pittman into a mistake that would have cost him the lead. Ogle falls back once again, still rides in 2nd. Now 3 tenths behind Pittman. And lap traffic is getting a little bit busy in front of them. They have, once again, still Brian Johnson and Bruce Pearson a bit slower. So they'll catch Pearson, but I think Johnson will catch Pearson, and they're going to catch Johnson and Pearson at a really bad time here.
That's if they keep the rapid pace up that they've been able to put up 18.6s. Still for your race leaders. Lap traffic running as low as the 18.9s up the road. Some of the others on the lead lap and the 18.9s for the most part. There goes lap traffic up the road. Bruce Pearson nearly comes to a dead stop corner exit.
Speaking of coming to dead stop, we had an incident with Jeffrey Ladden about 10 laps to go. The 39 pick the Wiggin machine had a self-spin on the bottom of turn 2. He's parked it for the night.
Then bring out a caution flag, obviously. That would have changed the equation, so to speak, of this run. And if we stay green, fuel might become a question mark.
It's going to be a huge question mark indeed. Do these guys have enough? I'm not sure exactly how long they're ready to go for. This thing's not very big. Not used to these 200 lap long races this season, so that will definitely become a big question mark in the back of everyone's mind.
Okay, some of the other groupings still on the racetrack. It's still Bianchi over Moore. Donnie Moore, though, he's building up run after run on corner exit, showing the nose this time. Bianchi misses the bottom. To the marbles he goes.
I believe Donnie Moore there in the 4. Yes, it is. Pull on through inside. Welcome to the drive-thru. What do you want? Well, Donnie Moore wants third, and he's going to get third there. And pulls away by the next straightaway handsomely. About a 3/4 gap already for Donnie Moore to Bianchi. Kenneth D. Allen next up as far as that battle for 4th now with Bianchi and Allen.
Just what the doctor ordered in terms of pace tonight. Still, it's going to be a long way to get up to the leaders. Donnie Moore is right now matching the leader's pace for this long run. Speaking of the leaders, they are still yet to close up to Johnson here. Johnson still is running the same lap times as your race leaders.
I'm not really sure what the case is. So the car looks fine. It might be a case of better tires or something. It's just wrong with that car because he is turning times equivalent to his qualifying times, Brian Johnson is. So I don't know if he's figured something out. Torrance Childs way wide though, right in front of their leaders. So a bit of a bobble now by Pittman and Ogle to get around Childs, able to do so cleanly. A bit of a pucker factor Zulu moment there for Pittman.
That was a bit of a dangerous situation there. Childs went off the gas. Ogle nearly clipped him at full speed. Still 1 car length the difference between the two of them. Now they've started to clip away the time from Johnson.
Definitely going to be a huge opportunity, or Tom's definitely going to need a huge opportunity to get around Pittman as far as he wants to do it cleanly. That's going to be the big if tonight. The question is how rough was Thomas Ogle raced for that lead? We saw the replay about 40 laps to go. Pittman goes to the inside and made a little bit of contact. I don't know if Ogle's going to shove it or brush off as a racing deal or going to save a bump and run here for the last couple of laps. Still 115 so laps to go, but Ogle definitely wants to get back to the lead.
Small little chance for a peak there, didn't lead to anything though. And in the first place, it could take up to 10 laps to set up a pass. For Ogle, at these high speeds and with everyone so equal footing around the track, it's taking more like 20 for a setup.
I say him and Pittman are basically dead nuts even every single lap, and it's been that way since practice. Ogle led practice at 18.217. Brian Pittman second in practice at 18.218, so 1/1000th of a difference between those two in practice. And Ogle a little bit quicker in qualifying, about 500ths, but other than that, I mean, these two look at the lap times are within a 10th, if not half a 10th, every time by. Ogle, big slide by Thomas Ogle, gets the rears a little bit out of the line. He's gonna fall back a little bit here.
Able to still hold on to it though. And now it's about regrouping again. Coming around lap 90. Just about complete this time by, almost at the midway point. For those tuning in, YesterYear Racing League, its season finale. Bianchi in prime position for the championship right now. These two for the race lead have pulled away by 6.5 seconds.
Thomas Ogle would, shoulda, woulda, coulda came into the night as a championship lock. He unfortunately missed a race later in the season. Still mathematically could have won if we had over 40 cars show up here tonight. Would have been a season high by a substantially large margin, but Thomas Ogle preparing for an assault on a championship in 2025, though. He's going to be the man to beat. He's been the man to beat all season long. Most wins to the season, I believe. 6 wins? 5 or 6 wins. And, yeah, and, 6 poles, though, I believe is what it is. 7th one here tonight. So Thomas Ogle has been quick all season long.
He's been the man with the speed, and he's nearly bumping Pittman here with the speed. After that mistake before, he's able to rapidly close back up, staying relatively within 2/10 each time they go by the stripe still. And they're expected to reach a heavy layer of traffic soon. And I'm not talking about just Johnson, who's been sitting in front feeding dirty air to these cars. Brian Neff, Lowell Jewell, Lloyd Moore, all are within range to be lapped pretty soon with how things are clicking away.
And Lloyd Moore does not want to go a lap down. That would be very catastrophic to the championship odds. He's going to need a caution here quick, as it's already championship fading away as cars are falling off the racing circuit. I believe about 13 to 14 cars left in this race, only 8 on the lead lap as they run.
And based on the pace they're doing, that number is going to reduce significantly in the next couple minutes. For those wondering, by the way, Donnie Moore still in front of Bianchi by 0.4 of a second. Lloyd Moore right now dropping back 5 seconds from the pack he was running with earlier on in this race. As once again, Ogle coming up to the midway point, nearly making contact. He's still keeping close to that nerf bar.
They're definitely keeping close indeed, not letting Pittman pull away too much. Pittman as well, another championship contender, just missed a race at some point in the season and hurt his odds big time. But these two right here, most wins on the season out of anyone. Pittman is tied for second there with Brian Bianchi, but consistency was not their forte. Only 9 top 10s and 13 starts for these two versus Bianchi and Lloyd Moore, who had 13 top 10s and 14 starts coming into the night. So they would have definitely been a little bit more pretty. I think Thomas Ogle would have been in more contention, even if he missed that race. But just, a couple of bad races here and there is the change of the tide for them.
Russ Flex coming up with the stripe, this time by 100 laps down, 100 laps to go. Here in the Southern 200. Pittman holds on to the race lead, and now it's traffic o'clock. They're within 5 car lengths of the traffic of Johnson. They have Neff in the choo-choo train. They have Martinson in the choo-choo train, as well as a couple others that are all in this line ready to be lapped.
A big moment here for both Pittman and Ogle. They got to get through as clean as they can. Brian Johnson will lead the way with the fastest car on track. Right now, Brian Neff, though, first up on the chopping block.
Let's lead lapper specifically. As we continue on the run, Pittman drags the wall again. That nearly opened the door last time, not this time.
And Brian Neff trying to get around Jeff Lemire in front of him. Lemire 5 laps down, Neff on the lead lap, and he knows how crucial it is to not go a lap down Pittman, just a couple tenths behind him.
This traffic's so critical, you can tell with how much Johnson lost just by joining this train. It's going to be a slog to get through. Martinson is trying to go up top side of left throw. Neff went offline. Now Johnson takes it 3 wide in the modifieds.
Brian Neff right in the middle, gets stuck there. Johnson works his way through the bottom, getting around Neff. Here comes Pittman out of the inside of Brian Neff in the 60. They about make contact. Brian Pittman able to get on by. Ogle try and get around Neff now as well.
Would have been a sketchy moment as Neff now goes up the racetrack. The leader survived. That's all you can say with that choo-choo train effect. Down to 7 on the lead lap for now.
Still got 2 more to go. They got, once again, Brian Johnson still in front of these guys, pulling away a little bit now, but Jeff Lemire there, looking in the mirror, trying to maybe see a good way for these guys to get on by. Both the drivers already multiple laps down, though, so expect them to get out of the way once they get their low jewel next in line on the lead lap, though, to get lapped. But Machine Johnson, once again, have that speed in the 27 hazard yellow machine just out of nowhere. I'm not really sure where the speed is coming from. You'd think the tires might be a little bit fresher. If anything, they're only about 8 or 9 laps fresher. But I mean, he is just consistently running 18.5s, 18.6s, or low 18.7s in a clean track.
Keeping it clean, keeping it green, and also putting up some fast times to boot. That's all you can really matter when it comes to how things have really settled in here. You have to think they'll peel into pit road possibly. How are green flag pit stops going to work on these modifieds if it comes down to it here?
Well, the pit road here basically takes up the entire track, and it's low and slow, 35-mile-an-hour pit road speed for these guys. So talk about a money stop. You cannot mess that up in any sort of circumstances. You might see some guys just take the minimum amount of fuel required and no tires to get a quicker stop.
The longer they go on this run, the less fuel they'll need for the second portion of this race. That's going to be the critical thing. Keep in mind here. A disastrous championship finale, though, for Lloyd Moore. 6th place still. And now he might get lapped if this keeps going by the pit cycle.
He's last car on the lead lap now. Or not last car, second last car, Louis Jewell last car. But he's not too far in front of Louis Jewell. No waiver on low lucky dogs because they didn't have him in 1990. We don't have him here in YesterYear Racing. For the past meets the present. And I'm sure that is one aspect that Lloyd Moore would love to be incorporated. Ryan Pittman finally gets around Brian Johnson. Bit of a bobble by him. Thomas Ogle trying to follow suit. Johnson goes wide, lets him on by. Maybe not. Still racing the Ogle side by side. Finally now slows up going to the corner and lets Ogle on by.
Took a moment. Didn't lose him too much time. We've seen Ogle close up that gap rapidly already once or twice. Now next up in the line is Martinsville to lap. That would put him back to 3 laps down the same cycle as Wanamaker for position. And that's something to keep in mind too with some of these lap car groupings. Childs and Lemire now grouped together on track in terms of laps. Some of these drivers are going to be battling for position here at the rapid pace of things. And a caution can really bunch things up for those little mini groups.
Yeah, Wanamaker actually came into the night tied with Rex Hoyle for 10th place in points. Hoyle not in attendance tonight, so Wanamaker should lock up with that 10th or so. It's going to come down to Louis Jewell actually. Louis Jewell right behind those drivers. As Ross Court Challenge about 25, 26 points behind on Wanamaker. So a couple of point battles all throughout the field to watch. Louis Jewell might actually sneak in there and steal that 10th spot from Wanamaker.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's always a chance.
Yes. So far, about 40 minutes through the racing for those curious on how timing is going. How much we've turned lap after lap here. It's been a calm race. It's been extremely calm, if you think about it.
Yeah, I can't believe we're saying that Martinsville. You know, we've only had 2 cautions, both of which in the first 20 or so laps. And if you're on over 100 green flag laps of racing on Martinsville, the paperclip, a track known for cautions, a track known for double-digit cautions sometimes, and you plan on about a quarter to half the race being caution laps.
It could be NIS. You could say that. NIS, NASCAR iRacing Series, specifically referring to. You might spend a 250-lap race about 200 laps under caution. We've seen.
Didn't Jordan Worth do a strategy? I believe it was in S.M.A.R.T Martinsville. Yeah, the caution. Rads were talking about it.
And it's because Bruce Pearson just parked on the racetrack.
Well, I think he heard how tired we were of a lack of cautions and said, "Don't worry, guys, I got you." I think this is more of a technical issue for Pearson. Can't run across the screen or something, able to drive away. And this has shaken things up massively.
So there goes the fuel strategy and the potential of green flag stops in a modified here.
Yeah, Pittman down pit lane.
Not a shock, but this is a shock for the timing of this. Bruce Pearson just running on his own, having fun, and then turns left and stops.
He just never straightened the wheel. He turned left for the corner, just never straightened it up. Big shock. Lloyd Moore yet to pit currently. He stays out and only lead lap car to do so. So Lloyd Moore might be trying to win this on strategy. Might have missed his stall. We'll see what he does. I think he's in line to come down pit lane. See another replay on board here. That's never straightened the wheel up, and then refire his car up and gets rolling again. Lloyd Moore does come down pit lane finally, by the way. So that definitely shakes things up. As I was saying, though, I think it was Jordan Worth did 100 pit stops during the NIS race. They already pit every single caution lap. Had 100 plus pit stops. That's a lot of pit stops.
It's the dichotomy of when it comes to racing here too. It's the type of racetrack where, depending on the series, you could be 2 laps down and be the race leader after so many caution flags. Or you could be the person who dominates the race and gets involved in the big one, and you end up going upside down and flipping upside down. Hey, anything can happen on the sim here at Martinsville as you see drivers finish up their 4-tire pit stops.
You know, I don't know if Lloyd Moore intentionally missed his pit stall. If not, this might have been the biggest brain move we have seen all season, because he pitted a lap later and everyone was still in pit lane as he was entering pit lane. He actually led the lap there. That's 5 bonus points for leading a lap that currently Brian Bianchi does not have. So that is going to relegate that that spot for Bianchi, I believe, back as far as where he'd have to finish. And now I think if he finishes 6th, he's still locked in. But now I think if Lloyd Moore is able to win this somehow and Bianchi finishes 7th, I believe that would give Lloyd Moore the championship. Very, very tight. It's about a 2-point swing. I'll have to double check that. But Lloyd Moore finding a way to get bonus points out of thin air.
I believe we've had an issue for Thomas Ogle, though, because he just had to let several people go. Can't confirm he is at the tail. He sped at 45 miles an hour into 35. So take Thomas Ogle out of the conversation. Ryan Pittman is now in the lead and has the lead over Donnie Moore.
That's right, just driving there for Thomas Ogle, but Ryan Pittman is going to not recklessly lead the field back to green here. 75 or less laps to go.
Back it away, and now it's the question, does Donnie Moore have the pace to keep up? Alone try and make the fight for the race lead here. That's the question.
Pittman leads Donnie Moore. Donnie Moore, one of the quickest cars on track before the caution came out. As Lloyd Moore, though, is now back to the back bumper of Brian Bianchi.
That's right now a fair bit back. Remember, Lloyd Moore, right now last in the lead lap, he just already got passed by Thomas Ogle. That's how things have gone so far this run. So now, it's the matter of, how do you try and set this up? Donnie Moore didn't have the short run speed before. How do you maintain the short run speed without sacrificing the long?
A big thing is keeping the car clean, you know, not knocking the tires in, knocking the toe out, and that will be the easiest way of keeping the car fast all run long and not burn the tires up. Don't get too heavy on the throttle. We saw Ogle do that quite a bit. I think that's why he was able to not able to hang on to the lead too well there. Had a bit of a bobble too early on and allowed Pittman to get inside, and Pittman's driven away ever since.
Indeed, right now, a lot of wheelsmanship having to be put in by that 4 car. One of the best runs of the season as well now for Kenneth Allen, with him on the podium with how things are looking this race.
Kenneth Allen, definitely one of the other quicker cars we talked about, drove around Bianchi. Been quick all night long, but career night for Kenneth Allen here on the 81. With a little bit of luck, might be able to win this thing.
Need a lot of luck to pass by multiple cars with what we've seen. It's going to be tricky. Make a move in this lead pack. It took 40 laps for Pittman to force a mistake in the first place out of Ogle. It might take that again from Donnie Moore to try and do something here.
Lloyd Moore, the last car on the lead lap. I believe we had an incident there with Neff, or Neff did already go a lap down. So we had an incident with someone. Because we had 7 cars on the lead lap. Lil Jewel, I believe, has not disconnected, but he's taken his car down pit lane.
Disqualification in the sim.
Very interesting set of circumstances there for Lil Jewel. Last car on the lead lap. Bianchi tells the cars behind him, Brian Johnson and Thomas Ogle tells Thomas Ogle going by. Bianchi just trying to finish. Only 6 cars left on the lead lap. That's a very important number because if Brian Bianchi finishes 6th, no matter what Lloyd Moore does, he has it locked up. Actually, doing the math, Bianchi would have to finish 8th, and Lloyd Moore would have to win the race at this current pace to be able to win the championship. So Bianchi needs to have some misfortune and falls down to 7th or 8th, and even then Lloyd Moore needs to go chase down Pittman and Donnie Moore and be able to win this thing.
And that doesn't seem like that's going to be a possibility with how things are looking. Not going to jinx that, but it is that type of a race tonight where it's trended green and clean. Right now up front, your top 3 staying together. Thomas Ogle is up to 4th, by the way. And for Ogle, he's within 3 seconds of this pack. He has closed up to this group.
Yeah, definitely a lot of...
Pittman missed the bottom, but not able to capitalize yet. Donnie Moore showing the nose.
Here he goes.
He tries it. He makes it. And makes Pittman pay. Donnie Moore to the lead.
A lot of exciting racing all throughout this field, but especially up front, side by side for a second. Kenneth D. Allen trying to follow Donnie Moore through. He wants more. He wants second. A bit of contact between the Nerf bars. Pittman runs the high line, goes up the track. Kenneth Allen running the bottom, gets a little bit loose on corner exit, and Ryan Pittman able to drive away and steal second.
How about that with that little move from that mistake? That one little bobble from Pittman opened the door for Donnie Moore quickly. And now it's a test for Donnie. We know he's got the speed long. Does he have it now for what you can almost say mid-run?
Yeah, definitely going to be a battle of the ages. Ryan Pittman trying to get back to the lead. Everyone on some fairly even rubber now. Bit of an interesting stat. I don't think Brian Neff actually pit last caution. I'm going to double check this, but my my timing and scoring shows him to have run 143 laps.
Some contact to the wall. Pittman makes near contact to the back end. Donnie Moore had bounced off to the wall there, and that discombobulated the whole pack here.
Donnie Moore able to hang on to the lead for now. Pittman there in the 08 in second. Donnie Moore, not a driver we've talked about a whole lot this season. He's been fairly consistent. He's shown some glimpses of speed, but trying to set up for a fantastic 2025, and that's by winning the 2024 championship race here.
Quickly zooming through with 55 laps to go in this race. 3 different leaders. Donnie Moore, Ryan Pittman, Thomas Ogle. By the way, Ogle's gained more than a second and a half in the past 15 laps on this pack.
Donnie Moore has not led a single lap this season in 10 races except for a handful in the season opener back at Martinsville. Surprise, surprise. And no podiums this season for him yet either. To try and go out with a bang here in the finale.
Thomas Ogle's flying though, Braden, and now it's the question, how does he handle this? He's the quickest car on the track in clean space by a wide margin as Pittman gets loose.
Clean space is going to be the name of the game. We saw how much they slow down when they get in the train here. It's not one car is going to have to pass, it's 3 cars, and they're all running the bottom.
Pittman needs to get a move on, or wants to get on a move on at least. Now knowing there's the pressure with car 13. And Ogle already taking some peeks on Allen back there. You see him in the backdrop.
Coming off the corner of the black number 13, Thomas Ogle. Now looking to the inside, Kempty Allen. Allen knows what's coming. Doesn't even try to challenge Ogle. Says, you're a much faster car, Thomas. Go on by. Chugga, choo-choo. Thomas the train there.
Less than 50 laps to go. Now the rumble's on between these two. Ogle's going to make this a 3-car battle pretty soon as well. As Moore drifts up the track, here comes Pittman.
Pittman wants to get back to the lead and be able to win this race. had the race of his life all night long. Trying to end the season on a great note. Doesn't want to settle for second. He wants to sit there. He wants to burn it down in victory lane.
Wants to be able to celebrate in winning fashion to end off this season. Chance to talk things over post-race.
Get a grandfather clock. I about to kiss the bricks, but we are not the right track for that.
Yeah, we are at a completely different track for that.
Maybe kiss a hot dog or two.
Yes. Some more bobbles. Pittman looking stable. Does he go for it here? He's trying it. Tries to peel him off the bottom. Donnie Moore held up firm from the top.
Now moved Donnie Moore out of the line, but Moore able to carry the momentum on the middle groove there and drive off the corner. All this battle has allowed Thomas Moore to close up, or Thomas Ogle to close up big time. My apologies there. 6/10 now between Donnie Moore and Thomas Ogle.
Of note, by the way, Brian Neff had now had to pit under green, so his gambit to try and solidify 7th does not pay off. Going to take service to be able to get himself some fuel in the car. Still though, Ogle try not to burn up his stuff here while trying to close up the gap. He's gone from being rapidy to within just 2/10 gained in the past 10-15 laps in the 13 car. Here's an send. Pittman forces Moore to miss the bottom and miss the marbles. He misses the wall with that slide, but Ryan Pittman's in the lead.
A big recovery there for Donnie Moore. Pittman looking to the bottom, forced Moore off the bottom groove and into the marbles there, and it's got him really swirling. Had to hit the brakes to avoid hitting the wall and loses over a second out of that. Brian Pittman on the 08-year leader, but Thomas Ogle at 13. He is right there putting the pressure on him.
We know how long that took on the setup, how much Ogle tried to plan and plot. Let's take a look at the replay as showing the nose, pressurize the mistake. It's so critical to do this.
Yeah, I mean, you can get pretty close to the inside car running the middle groove, but Donnie Moore was about a lane too high there than he should have been. I know you want to give Pittman the inside lane, but he was a little too generous, and it's going to cost him big time. Get the right rear just in the marble with no grip up there and a little bit loose, and able to keep it going straight. That was a great recovery, though, for Donnie Moore.
Still 40 laps to go as Moore knocked back to the end of the podium list. Bianchi still in championship front-running contention in 5th, down to 6 cars on the lead lap. For those curious on how things have circulated around the racetrack. And now, it's the matter of seeing really just how this chess match is going to work out up front, especially for some of these drivers.
Still about 10, 11 cars on track. Actually, make it 13, I believe, by my count there. Only 6 on the lead lap. And the big important note, though, is some of these drivers are 10, 11, 12, 18 laps down if you're Brian Johnson. So once we hit, you know, the 18 laps to go and the 10 laps to go, those cars become impossible for Brian Bianchi to fall down the running order. Bit of a bobble back here, actually. Lloyd Moore, big bob off of turn 2, about hit the inside wall. Able to keep it going straight, but a big moment for Lloyd Moore.
Yeah, not going great for the 26 car, as Ogle is now closed in within 4/10 of the race leader now, taking a more methodical approach to the chip away the gap approach on these entries.
Definitely chipping away. He's doing a great job at it. Looking like a bit of a statue architect. I'm sure they have a more proper term.
Sculptors?
Yes, there we go. I knew there was a term for it. Thank you, JP. I never said I was the greatest at English literature.
I know. It can be challenging, to say the very least. And right
Words
now,
are hard.
Words are very hard. Yes, everybody knows this. 33 laps to go. As Ogle nearly missed the bottom trying to lunge.
And try and, you know, use the whole track. My favorite saying is all he paid for the whole track. He's going to use the whole track, and Olgo is definitely using the bottom as much as he can here. This track, a couple of decades ago, used to actually have grass there. And we're going to see that red and white curbing. Made it very interesting for drivers that like to peak a little too low. This setup here a little bit more forgiving, but Olgo carries so much speed on corner entry there, and lap traffic will start to enter the picture with Wanamaker and Bruce Pearson side by side in front of these guys now.
Now looking for a little poke. Lots of traffic right up the road, coming to 30 laps to go. Caution! And we're back under yellow, as this time, I believe it's George Childs who may have been the culprit.
He had a bit of a bobble, and ends up on the inside wall a little bit, brings out a caution. Brian Johnson also taking to the garage, suddenly under this caution. The replay here, we're going to see the same thing. He enters the corner way too high, just like Donnie Moore did, not quite able to save it, and goes below the track there.
Yep, just enough to slow things down, be a little bit too sideways, and bring out a caution flag. Childs in 11th, 6 laps down at the time of the yellow flag. And that's going to allow the drivers to cool down their tires a little bit here. How do you approach this now for the front runners?
These drivers should have one set in the pits if they choose to take it. Kenneth Allen comes down, he's going to take his. But I think just hoping they're able to go out here and cool their tires as much as they can under caution. If you're Lloyd Moore, you got to do something different. Your last car to lead up, you got to get around Bianchi. You got to hope Bianchi has a mistake. I think take tires over Lloyd Moore. And here he comes down pit lane. Lloyd Moore for the championship, trying to change the tide. Maybe a new set of tires is what he needs. Even if he's able to go here and drive to the front, he's going to need some help at the misfortune of Brian Bianchi.
So trying something different, why not at this point? We've seen how well that worked actually for Brian Johnson's long run pace before he eventually got lapped. If you're towards the back of the group, may as well try and roll the dice, right? See if this is going to play out to your advantage for the end of this checker flag.
That's definitely going to be a crucial part of this strategy call here. See if he's able to drive up to the front. Like I mentioned, if Bianchi has some misfortune and falls down to 7th or 8th, doesn't matter if Lloyd Moore is not able to drive to the front. And this is exactly what the doctor might have ordered for Lloyd Moore.
So off and away goes the 26 car. Just try and find a way to drive on up on fresh boots. Kenneth Allen, I mentioned in the same sort of scenario here, had pit the last time around. Everyone else more than 50 laps on their tires. What is going to potentially be one of the final runs, if not the final run of this race. And it's been an exciting season to say the very least here, Braden. From start to finish, it's been interesting from the battles we've seen, the clean racing, the sportsmanship, on the way to us deciding a champion tonight.
That definitely, this race has been a clash of the titans between Bianchi and Lloyd Moore going for a champion, and Brian Pittman and Thomas Ogle. These two drivers alone count for 64% of all poles this season and 54% of wins. When these drivers have started on pole, either Ryan Pittman or Thomas Ogle, they have won 8 out of 9 times. The one driver to win, when they had a Thomas Ogle or Ryan Pittman pole, was Lloyd Moore. But Ryan Pittman leads the field to green under 25 laps to go. Try and find victory lane here tonight.
Green flag is out, back it away. Ogle had a better launch than Pittman, but no place to send it.
Big bobble back in the pack. A huge bobble. A couple drivers stacked up on that restart. Brian Neff, Wanamaker, and almost Lloyd Moore. Some heavy damage for those guys.
Not how they wanted that to go at the start off this run. Top 4 stayed lockstep this run to start. Fresh tires need to gain 3-4 seconds to get to this group through all the traffic.
So yeah, remember, rescind lapped cars throughout the field. So Lloyd Moore, because there's only one of a handful of cars to pit there, had to start at the tail end of the field behind all 12, 13 cars left running. So he has a ton of traffic to work his way through. If he wants to go catch Bianchi, he needs another caution is what he needs.
Coming around 22 to go. Ogle, a lot more send for the apex, tries to get the diamond line. No place to get alongside for now. The top two are starting to build that buffer for the rest of the pack, but the caution is out again.
It's Lloyd Moore.
And those new tires did not last long.
It's going to be a simple self-spin, no heavy damage for him. But we're going to re-rack and restack the field one more time at least tonight. Watching the 26 car here. Trying to look inside. Brian Neff gets a little out of the groove and just never gets back in the groove before putting the hammer down.
Puts us back under caution with him sideways on the racetrack and then putting it in the wall for good measure. And that is not what Lloyd Moore wanted at all here. That really scuffs up those tires.
I think he misunderstood the doctor's orders there. When the doctor said you can eat vegetables, he didn't mean mashed potatoes.
Indeed. So now, go ahead.
Back in the session as well after a bit of a technical issue, the last caution. 26 laps down. I noticed he came down and got his car fixed. He slowed down about 3/10. So I don't know if his car was broken in a way that made him faster around this flat Martinsville Speedway, but maybe so.
That's weird. That's very weird, but it is something we've seen happen before. I remember tracks like Bristol, you used to be able to, with stock cars with the Gen 6 era, you would hit the wall, and because of the way you might hit it, if you hit it a certain way, it would make you faster in a fixed setup. That's very different these days because now you hit the wall, you break your tire off.
I think that's what Lloyd Moore was trying there. Just hit the wall until the car got faster. Pit lane open, I think, not sure. I can't even see the lights. I'm not down there. It's very hard to see the pit lane light from the broadcast booth here. I'm actually at the hot dog stand, but no takers though.
Not surprised with how things have gone. Track position's critical, and those with the tires still a fair bit back, potentially for this restart, with a lot of drivers still in the queue. There is a potential battle forming for the 3-lap downers, though, for this restart. Martinson, Neff, Wanamaker are all 3 laps down. 7th through 9th might have a chance to still battle for position off this restart. We'll have to keep an eye on that one.
Mind you, Wanamaker in a battle for 10th in points with Lil Jewel and Torrance Childs. Lil Jewel had an issue. He is out of the race, so no pressure for him, but Torrance Childs a couple laps behind Wanamaker currently. Actually, they might be able to leapfrog Thomas Hilber. I believe they're going to be too far back. But Hilber also is in a battle with Brian Johnson for 8th. So Johnson might be able to hang on to that 8th spot tonight. Might actually leapfrog Todd Liston as well. So there's all kinds of battles throughout the top 15 or so points as the field gets ready to go back green.
Ready to go back racing. Pittman, Ogle, Donnie Moore, your top 3. Oh, and Ogle this time gives Pittman the shove. Just trying to keep him moving forward and no place to lunge it still.
Lloyd Moore had to reach out the tail end of the field once again. Ryan Pittman will lead the field down at turn 3. You see him start to stack up behind them there a little bit.
Now it's going to be interesting. Can Ogle do anything to get alongside? Force the mistake. He's been able to force mistakes off these restarts so far tonight. Now, with 14 to go at the stripe, Ogle pushing hard.
Ryan Pittman, 14 laps ago from his 4th win this season. Brian Bianchi, 14 laps ago from taking home the old bootleg. Yeah, something like that.
The old red boot.
Old red boot, thank you. Bootleg Racing League there. The old red boot. Brian Bianchi trying to take it home here tonight.
Slipping and sliding away on the bottom. Donnie Moore losing ground to all this. It's looking more and more like it's Pittman and Ogle's show to battle it out. Another good lunge for Ogle to the Nerf bar.
Donnie Moore still stuck in traffic, way behind. He's got about 5 seconds behind Pittman. Pittman trying to hang on to the lead. Thomas Ogle putting the pressure on him.
Coming to 11 laps to go. Bit of a tire drift this time, Pittman. As Ogle nearly opened the door. Elects not to take the door, though. Waiting for the right chance here. Here's the door. And the door slams shut.
The second it opens up, you're going to have to really not think about it. Just put your foot in there and hope it doesn't get slammed too hard. I mean, neither one of these drivers are racing for a championship. They got nothing more to prove. They've been dominant all season. They're going for bragging rights here tonight.
Going around 9 laps to go on this race and on the season. Bianchi in line for the championship no matter what right now. All he needs to do is drive it home without any issues in the next 6 laps and he can secure the title. All that's while up front, Ogle still has not been able to get along. He hits the wall this time. He went too much.
Ogle trying to use as much track as he can. Runs a little bit lower in the corner, a little bit harder. Closes up the gap. Pittman drives away. It's going to be a 3-horse race. Donnie Moore hanging in the picture. This needs a bobble by both these guys, and he's got this thing won. But Pittman currently sitting pretty.
Ogle trying different lines, pushing too hard again. That's something he did last time that opened up the door for Pittman initially. Donnie Moore now has a chance maybe to take away second spot.
Donnie Moore definitely putting the pressure on Ogle. Ogle putting the pressure on Pittman. It's a pressure sandwich here. We got a 3-horse pressure cooker basically coming to 5 laps to go.
Coming up to 5 laps to go on the YesterYear season for the Southern 200. Ryan Pittman trying to hold on for win number 4. Ogle looking for a season-leading 6th. Still no square away amongst these two right now. No chance on contact, no chance on the lunge still with 4 to go.
Donnie Moore looking for that first win this season. He got his first podium pretty much locked up, but talk about going out with a bang and 1 more lap probably until Bianchi locks up the championship. He can't fall below 7th once they complete this lap.
Point of no return. 3 laps to go on the season. Does Ogle dare use the bumper? He's been daring to get close to it this whole race. Doesn't seem like he wants to use contact, but he is getting close enough to try it.
Definitely putting the pressure on. Gonna be a handful of laps, handful of miles, 2 to go here. Expect the white flag out next time by. Pittman and Ogle got a little bit dirty the first time they passed for a lead. Will they get dirty the last time?
Coming to the white flag this time by. Final time around for YesterYear's 2024 season. Ogle trying to set things up, pushes hard. That might cost him there. Ryan Pittman through turns 3 and 4. 1 more lunge from Ogle. Not going to be enough. It's Pittman who holds on to take the win at Martinsville.
There's a little celebratory dance on the front straightaway. Donnie Moore there in 3rd, first podium of the season. And Brian Bianchi hangs on the 4th, hangs on to the season championship. Absolutely stellar performance from him. He's going to take home a lovely old red boot.
So Ryan Pittman picks up the race win, but it's Brian Bianchi who will get the chance to celebrate the championship. Burnouts for Pittman. Bianchi ready to join in on the celebratory burnouts with the 08 machine.
Talk about burning it down. First win since September 24th at Wilkesboro for Ryan Pittman.
Interestingly enough, just 4 drivers finished without incident points. Ogle, Bianchi, Hastings, Allen. in this one tonight. Post-race results coming up. You're watching Maconi Entertainment for coverage of yesteryear from the Paperclip.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi's setup shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back, everyone, to Maconi Entertainment for post-race coverage of tonight's action for yesteryear. Martinsville Speedway, the site, and the end. 18 drivers attacked the Paperclip. It was Pittman over Ogle for the race win. That's a look at the qualifying results initially on screen. Donnie Moore did finish in 3rd spot, Brian Bianchi in 4th, Allen in 5th. Wade Moore finishes the last one, a lead lap for this one. Dustin Martinson finished 3 laps down over Alan Wanamaker, Brian Neff. Jeff Lemire rounded out the top 10 Braden.
And you see Torrent Childs there, rough night for him. He's going to finish in 11th. Bruce Pearson there in 12th. Brian Johnson had a lot of speed all night. Just had an early incident, was never able to actually contend for top 10 here tonight. He's going to finish 13th. Blue Jewel disqualified late in the race, unsure of the reason. Finishes 14th. Jeffrey Lyden 15th. John Hastings finishes 16th. And Thomas Hilbert gets taken out in an early race wreck along with Jerry Isaacs. They're going to finish 17th and 18th.
Folks, that's about it with the running order here tonight. In this one, we have a lot of people to talk with in this result. And for this one, Ryan Pittman is the first in the queue. Ryan Pittman, you're able to pick up the win here tonight. 4 wins, in fact, on the season now to end off the campaign. Talk us through your night as you had some intense battling with Thomas Ogle.
Yeah, Thomas has been an awesome guy to race with. Him, Donnie Moore, Brian Bianchi, all those guys have been awesome this season, man. It was a long race, 200 laps at Martinsville, and especially that first 150 laps or so. Holy cow, if that caution didn't come out there, we would have been cooking on fuel. We would have been gone because you could only make it about 150 laps. That was a lot of fun.
Overall, though, how would you describe this season, knowing the consistency that's been there, but also what we in turn seen, you having stellar speed at a lot of tracks this season?
Yeah, short tracks are my thing, and I've always kind of had an appreciation for those on the grassroots level and what all. This league, man, it's been awesome to run in, and this whole season, one of the most respectful leagues I've been in. The officiating that Wanamaker does and everything is just top tier, unmatched. So it's truly been a pleasure to run as much as I've been able to run this year.
I was just about to say, how are you looking forward to next season?
Yeah, I think Alan said we're going to be taking it back to the 1960s or something, which will be really really cool. It'd be kind of neat if if we could get to some old races. I think back in those early days they ran it like Watkins Glen and Lime Rock and stuff. I don't think it was that early, but it'd be kind of cool to get a road course or two in here.
Again, we'll be speaking with that with Wanamaker later on to get some of the details for that starting up in February. Anyone you want to give a shout out to here tonight?
There's always all the guys that I race with as well. Talk about Thomas Ogle, Donnie Moore, Brian Bianchi, all those guys. Alan Wanamaker, of course, like I said, top tier league. Also, want to give a shout out to my sister and her now husband. That's why I wasn't here last weekend. They were getting married, so they're off and took a trip out to California, Nevada this week. So shout out to them. Happy for them. Then on top of that, as always, as I say, support your local short tracks. For those who kept up with like Bob Proctor's and those in the news, we lost another short track. Once actually on iRacing. Irwindale Speedway will be closing at the end of the year. I believe their final race is going to be on December 21st. So it's sad to see another great short track, one of the best in the country, shut down. But best we can do is go out there and, as I always say, support your local short tracks. Me, with my home track here in Raleigh, North Carolina, Wake County Speedway. It's near and dear to my heart. So anything we can always do to support those guys just as much as they support us.
Once again, congratulations on the win here tonight, Ryan.
Yeah, buddy. Appreciate it.
Ryan Pittman coming away with the W here this evening. Thomas Ogle came away second spot. And that means he will be with Braden Laster here in this one.
Yeah, Thomas Ogle, you had an impressive run this entire season. 5 wins. You got the 6th pole tonight and over 770 laps led, but ultimately you finished second here tonight. Tell us a little bit about your race.
Well, I got a little bit loose off the corner there, and it let him get inside of me. And then I made sure I left him room, but he kind of pushed up into me and knocked me out of the line. So it happens. If I would have known that, I might have been a little bit rougher once I caught back up to him. But I thought I had pinched him, I thought I had pinched him and not left him enough room down there. But when I watched the replay, I probably should have been a little bit more aggressive with him at the end. But he ran me clean all year, so I just like the clean race.
And looking back at all your mentioned the stats, so you had a season high of any driver, 5 wins. Pittman only had 4 to the season. You were the championship favorite. You missed that race late in the season, but 2025, Pittman talked a little bit about it. Alan will give us a little bit more details later in the broadcast, but I know it can be a very unique and very interesting format. And are we going to see you once again in 2025?
Yeah, I'm going to come back and run. Alan does a good job with the league. I race with him in another league. I really like these cars. I like the short tracks. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to come back next year. Maybe I won't speed on pit road so many times and maybe not miss any races.
Love to hear that. Anybody want to thank and route to this 1 second place finisher tonight and throughout the whole season?
Just the guys that put on the league and all the sponsors and you guys for broadcasting it. You do a good job. I enjoy watching them back.
Well, thank you for saying that. We appreciate it. You guys put on a great show as always. So thank you for taking the time to speak with us.
No problem. Thank you.
And Thomas Ogle coming away in the second spot tonight. Donnie Moore came away with his first podium of the season. Now joins us in the broadcast booth. Donnie had to fight and scratch and claw with your pace here tonight. How would you describe this race getting on the podium?
Oh, well, it's my first podium, so you got to love it. Good way to go out. Boy, hats off to Alan Wanamaker. It's a very unique league, and I feel fortunate to be able to run in it. Thanks for having me.
Overall, though, tonight, how would you describe that battle with the car? Whether it was lining things up on the speed, but also making sure you found a way to the front, which you did for a bit, leading your first laps of the season since the start of this campaign.
Yeah, I was trying to put a little pressure on, was it Ryan? And he just bobbled a little bit, gave me an opening, but then I bobbled and gave it right back to him. But all in all, it was a pretty good race. The car was fast. The tires were getting a little about 150 there, whatever that last caution. We needed that for new tires. But I only took the outsides and a little bit of fuel, and that seemed good enough. I'm surprised they came out in second.
Well, on that note, overall, how would you describe the season as a whole, the first for yesteryear?
Well, this is a fantastic league. I didn't get to run all the races. Hope to run more next year, but and I'm glad Alan's going to do a new season. He just said that tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. Good season, good drivers in here, and you got to hats off to the competition too. They make it fun.
Once again, Donnie, congratulations to the run here this evening.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Donnie Moore coming away third spot here tonight as we move things along here. Let's go to your championship winner. Braden Laster going to be with your championship winner this season. Brian Bianchi coming away as the title winner, Braden.
And Brian, one win of the season, one pole, but most importantly, a season high of 10 top fives, most of anyone, and 14 top tens in 15 races. Talk about a heck of a season.
Yeah, fast cars all year. That was a lot of fun. Alan really put together something special here. This is a great league to run in, a great group of guys. Everybody runs clean, respectful. Just try to be consistent all year, try to be fast. My teammate Rex helped me get ready for all this. Man, it's a great season.
And it came in tonight, a bit of a bubble to Lloyd Moore. I know we had a couple early entries and saw cars start falling out, but did you change your approach going in tonight? Did you want to run a little bit calmer race, knowing if you just finished, you had it locked up, or were you going to try in the season on the bank?
Yeah, I wanted to qualify good in the top 5 and then try to get some space on the longer runs. So I was just trying to ride and stay clean and stay out of trouble. Lloyd was behind me most of the night. So I was able to manage the gap and just stay clean.
And you're taking home the pretty spectacular old red boot trophy. It's headed home to your lovely house, and I'm sure it will look fantastic on a banister somewhere. But 2025, I hear Alan has some pretty exciting things worked up for that. We're going to talk to him here in a minute. But will we see you defend your title?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be back next season. Like I said, Alan's done a great job, and I look forward to Tuesdays when we're running. I'm from the Northeast. These tour modifieds are what we live for up here.
Of course. Anyone who want to thank him after this championship run here tonight?
Yeah, I got a lot of people. As always, Culpepper's Bacon and Cafe, Colony Tire, Bianchi Cash Register, Christina's Custom Cuts, Zeno's Luxury Jackets, Patty's Pugs, Spar Mackey, Rex Hoyle. Man, without him, I don't know where I'd be. He's he does all my paints. We practice and everything together. Just outstanding. And Alan for putting this stuff together, and you guys for broadcasting and doing such a great job.
Well, thank you for putting on a great show as always. It's always a pleasure getting to talk to you, Brian. I'm sure we'll be talking to you quite a bit next year.
All right, thanks, guys.
Let's get your champion, Brian Bianchi, coming away with the championship. Let's bring in our last discussion here for this evening, Alan Wanamaker, now joining us in the broadcast booth. And
hey,
Alan,
guys.
Hello. First things first, how would you describe the race from your perspective?
Oh, man, I had some Jean-Claude Van Damme early on and was just coasting around. And then, for some reason I could run some decent times. My wheel was bowed. And then suddenly with 20 laps to go, I find myself in a battle for position. I hadn't seen anybody on the same lap as me the whole race. And Neff and I were battling for 8th place. And I don't know if he had an equipment issue. It looked like he went straight in the wall again or something. I'm not sure if he slipped up, but fortunately I was able to take that place. But that's a pretty good, clean race. I mean, it seemed long, but that's kind of the way it rolls sometimes yesteryear.
As well, talking about the 2024 season, how would you describe it from the league owner's perspective?
Yeah, I think it's a success. I mean, in the drivers' meeting, I thanked the guys for making it a success. When I started this back in March, I wasn't really sure if there'd be a 2025 because I didn't know if you could do a year-long series that takes sometimes pretty long breaks and still have people come back. But I guess if you put a good enough product out there and people enjoy the racecraft, then they do come back. And so I sort of found that out midway through the season, and I started to think, okay, this actually can kind of work.
And so what does the future look like for 2025 when the series comes back in February?
Yeah, so we're doing something a little interesting next year. We are going to have a 2025. There's been some legwork done. As you know, there's the YYR Series that's taking the winners of the series of all the leagues that participate. That's only a 4-race series next year in 2025, and they'll race the Cadillacs. But for YesterYear, the regular season, season 2, we're going to go back to 1966, 17 years after the birth of NASCAR and before I was born, and cob together a series out of some of those old tracks. So we'll see some, and there's a little bit more balance. If you look at this year, it was very heavy on short track, and we had, I guess, one super speedway and one speedway. Next year, there's going to be a couple speedways, but more of a balance between bull ring and short track. Bull ring meaning tracks that are less than half a mile. So we really ran Hickory was the only one we ran this year. But we're running several next year, and that's sort of more of what they did back in 1966.
It's going to be an interesting season based on the description, absolutely. Any other shout-outs you'd like to give here before we let you get going?
Just shout out to you guys for doing a great job interviewing the whole season. It's been fun. It seems like it's just 7-8 months ago. Shout out to the drivers, of course. And all the viewers, we picked up some viewers over the course of the year. People started watching, and so just shout out to anyone who had anything to do with YesterYear in 2024 and making it a success. So thanks, guys.
Congratulations once again on what was a successful season here for YesterYear. Alan Wanamaker, I thank him for taking the time to speak with us, as well as the rest of your front runners, your top 4, including your champion, Brian Bianchi, in the discussions. Braden, your thoughts on this season as a whole as we close out things tonight with the 41 as the first champion?
Yeah, all season long. I mean, we had great race after great race after great race, and 200 laps. It really came down to the final corners. You never knew who was going to take home the win there, and that's one thing we love about this league: the personalities behind it, the great drivers behind it, how hard some of these guys work to go out here and just to run top 5, and then to run top 3, and then to go out there and win a race. It all comes down to the final lap about every single time. That's what's pretty cool about YesterYear Racing League. And I'm excited to have been a small part of it as far as the broadcast goes, and working with you, JP. It's been a fun journey going all the way back to March, and I'm excited for 2025.
I'm excited too to see what happens at that point. But until that mark, we'd like to thank once again the YesterYear Racing administration team, led by Alan Wanamaker, for their work in bringing this league to life. Calling the action today, myself, Justin Prince, alongside Brian Laster. Our producer tonight was Christian Hill. Thanks to our viewers for watching tonight's action. I hope you stay tuned to all our social media pages for our next race. Thanks to the entire staff for their work in bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi's Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.